What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today's show, I'm going to talk about this crazy thing that has been going on in the DC area, which is really disturbing to me. And that thing is cheering players who are no longer here. Now, I understand cheering guys who are no longer here and wanted to be here, or we kind of moved on from them because we felt they were too old and things like that. But the real reason that I'm complaining or that I'm talking about this is because of one particular guy. And that guy is Bryce Harper. Now, I've heard several different fans talk about the BS of when Bryce Harper comes back into Nationals ballpark, for them to sit up there and cheer this guy, even though he doesn't deserve to be cheered for. I mean, this guy sat up here and has shown no loyalty to the city. He's always said, he talked so much about how when he was young, he loved the Yankees, how he still loves the Yankees and things like that. People tried to sit up there and make excuses for this guy, talking about, well, the reason he is wearing a Golden Knights jersey is because he's from Vegas. People, the Golden Knights were just became a team. So there's no way he could be a fan that quickly over this team and stuff like that. Not only that, he shows up in at the championship, the Capitals championship game, the championship games, wearing Golden Knight jerseys. He even dropped the puck at one of the games wearing a Golden Knight jersey. Now, let me say this. I'm tired of fans wanting to cheer or celebrate players who either don't want to play here, aren't thinking about coming here, or don't care to be here. Now, Bryce Harper, to me, is a great example of that. Now, this guy has shown countless times over and over again, DC was not where he wanted to be. He never cared about the city. He didn't think about the city. Hell, he wasn't even in the Eastern Motors commercial. And we all know, when it comes to Eastern Motors, that's the commercial that lets us know these players actually want to be here. Hell, Carmelo Anthony was in the Eastern Motors commercial, and the only reason he was in the Eastern Motors commercial is because he's from Baltimore. He didn't even play for any of the teams in the city, and yet he was still in the commercial. So that tells you something. That tells you that a guy doesn't love the area, doesn't care to be here, didn't care to be here, or anything. Not only that, when in the hell did we get to the point at where we're cheering guys who don't deserve to be cheered? I mean, when did we get, as a fan base, when did we get to the point at where we felt that was acceptable to cheer a guy who is not here, didn't want to be here, or didn't care to be here? When did we get to that point? Because I don't understand why I hear so many Nationals fans, people who are actual Nationals fans, talking about they're going to cheer Bryce Harper when he comes back. What has he done for us? What has he done for the Nationals? He's done nothing for the Nationals. He didn't act like he wanted to do anything for the Nationals either. He didn't help us win any playoff games. He wasn't the reason we went to the playoffs. Again, I've said this before. What has he done memorable for the city that makes him even think to be cheered? We're not talking about somebody like a Brian Mitchell who we cheered when he showed back up in the Eagles jersey, because Brian Mitchell never wanted to leave. It's the same thing applied to Art Monk. When Art Monk left and he came back, we cheered him. Why? Because he was another one that didn't want to leave. All these players that we supposed to cheer that did not want to leave, that makes sense. That makes sense to cheer these guys. That makes sense to welcome these guys back. Like right now, if we traded away Alex Ovechkin, we would cheer this guy back. You know why? Because this guy has given us winning the whole time he's been here. He's been the best player on his team the whole time he's been here. And last but not least, he won us a championship. Alex Ovechkin showed us the dedication he's always had for this city, no matter what. Even when they were talking about him becoming a free agent years before he was going to become one, the first thing out of his mouth, and understand this man doesn't even speak English that well. Yet and still, first thing out of his mouth was, I want to be a Capital. I want to be in Washington. That was the first thing out of his mouth. And damn it, if that man hasn't shown the loyalty to this city that this city deserves to cheer this man at all times. If we traded away Alex Ovechkin, he deserves to be cheered. But Bryce Harper, he doesn't deserve to be cheered at all. At all. And for any of you fans who sit up there and say you're going to cheer Bryce Harper because of the fact that you feel that he was a great player for us, man, you need to sit up there and turn in your Nationals fan card. You are a traitor to the city as a whole. And you know what? Another thing I have to say about this, about the fans of this city, I feel that nowadays we have too many affluent fans when it comes to this city. They don't go to these games actually cheering the teams. They go to these games as more social out, just to be social and just like social commune places or just social events. That's all they look at these games as, is big social events for the rich and wealthy. But yet and still, none of them are paying attention to the games. That's why, to me, I feel that that's where we get all these fans talking about, well, we should cheer Bryce Harper. It's always these foolish ones who want to be the first one to say, oh, I said that first. I said that we should cheer Bryce Harper first. No, we should never cheer Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper does not deserve to be cheered. He does not deserve to be cheered. He doesn't deserve to be cheered. He doesn't deserve. In fact, he deserves to be booed more than any other player that has ever come back and played here. So, I mean, yeah, I will sit up there and make my judgment call on him being on the Eastern Motors commercial because, again, like I said, when it came down to it, guess who was in an Eastern Motors commercial? Alex Ovechkin was in several Eastern Motors commercials. Several. You're not going to have me believe that this guy wants to be in this city when he doesn't even do an Eastern Motors commercial. And not only that, like I said, he's always shown that he didn't want to be in this city. But you know what? You know what's funny? Let him have did this, like he's in Philly now. Let him show up to a Flyers game in a Golden Knights jersey and watch how those fans treat him. Let him show up at a Philadelphia Eagles game in a Chargers jersey or Raiders jersey or Rams jersey or even a Dallas jersey. Let him show up to those games like that and watch how we should act when a player sits up there and blatantly disrespects the city and the teams within the city. I bet you some money we'll never see Bryce Harper at a Flyers game or at a Penguins game wearing anything other than a Flyers or Penguins jersey. Because we understand what we need to do. We need to take that same attitude that the Philadelphia fans take when it comes to players who come back to their city who's shown the city disrespect. That's the same thing we should do. Bryce Harper never wanted to be here. He never wanted to play here. And every time we turn, everybody, there's no way. Every time we turned around, everybody always talked about how everybody always talked about how he always talked about playing somewhere else, or how he was a fan of other teams and things like that. Come on, y'all. I mean, hell, Kevin Durant, who's not even from this city, stands on the sidelines of Redskins games when they play. Now, I'll say something about that, too. It was rude for us to sit up there and wear Kevin Durant jerseys at Wizards games, but I understood the excitement because he was a hometown guy. I understood that. I understood the fact that we thought we were going to get him because we had sat up there and saved so much money to try to get him. I get that. But I'll also say this. He never said he was going to come here, but he's always shown this city love. He's always shown home love. But when you talk about Bryce and cheering this guy, and then on top of that, this guy goes inside the division. He didn't go inside the division because of the fact that he's so mad at DC because they didn't retain him. No, he went inside the division because at the end of the day, the Yankees weren't looking for anybody. The Dodgers was only going to pay him a little bit of money. And when it comes to, I guess, the Giants, they wanted a short-term deal as well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, for all you fans who sit up there and come out your mouth and say you're going to sit up there and cheer Bryce Harper when he shows back up, what we need to do as fans is stop sitting up there and being the girl who asked the guy out to the prom, and then he turns us down, and all of a sudden he shows up with the prom with another girl, and all of a sudden we sit up there and say, I'm just happy that he's happy. And what we need to do is sit up there and take a page out of the Philadelphia fans playbook and sit up there and be more like Curry and burn the prom down. This is your man, John Fortune, and this is the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.